We're transported into the near future in today's video as Cyberpunk meets Buddy Movie in Encodya. Hey guys, and welcome to YakWaxLips. My name is Michael, your point and click adventurer, and today we're taking a closer look at Encodya from first time game developer Chaosmonger, published by Assemble Entertainment. If it's your first time here, welcome. I create purely adventure game videos that cover everything from Monkey Island and Broken Sword through to modern games like Encodya. And if that is your cup of tea, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and tap the like too, as that really helps get more eyes on my videos. Thank you very much. Encodya may be the first game from Chaosmonger, but it's based on their own short film called Robot Will Protect You, released in 2019. In Encodya, we're in the near future date of 2062, and we play as both Tina, a 9-year-old girl, and her robot SAM-53. SAM-53, or Sam for short, is Tina's dedicated nanny robot that she's lived with her entire life, and her best friend and only friend. It's a robot model that is given to all newborns to help protect them as they grow. Tina's mum died 3 years previous of an overdose from cyberspace, so since then, together they lived on the streets of Neo-Berlin. The short intro sets us up for an average day in the life of the pair trying to get along in the city. Today's jobs are find some oil for Sam, a new pair of socks for Tina, and repair their canvas shelter. Once their day-to-day jobs have been completed, however, their usual routine is thrown off as the police have started to tear through their shelter looking for Sam. Turns out there's a secret code that has been implanted into him thanks to Tina's dad when she was just a baby. What's the code for? Why this particular robot? Where is Tina's dad? All questions we're looking to answer in the game. And to spur us on even more, the evil Mayor Rumpf is the one behind the search and will do anything to get his hands on Sam and destroy the code. Story-wise, it doesn't really hit any new ground, but where it covers similar territory with a good versus bad foundation, Encodya rises above it with its heart. Tina and Sam have lived 9 years side by side and so know each other inside out, and their relationship is always front and centre, and it's a strong partnership that pulls the game through. Sam is a huge hulking metallic creation with adorable asymmetric eyes and a slow, low, calming voice, where Tina has a teeny tiny child body but with a huge head, albeit due to the helmet she wears throughout, and her voice is a tad squeaky. Life on the streets, however, has toughened her up somewhat, so she's not the annoying wet behind the ears child that any normal 9-year-old might be. There's an ease between the two that settles the game down quickly, regardless what dangerous adventure they're about to set out on. The game is split into 5 chapters, however it's more of a game of 2 halves. In the first, we're traipsing around the dirty, crowded streets of a noisy Neo-Berlin, with its tangled cables, neon, heavy rain and almost noirish vibes, populated with all kinds of characters including different robots, cyber junkies and more colourful oddities. In stark contrast, we spend the other half of the game inside the calming, idyllic green pastures of cyberspace, which also includes some random mechanical parts poking through. The scenery of the entire game is simply stunning. It really felt like Neo-Berlin was a sprawling metropolis that had eaten up different cultures from years gone by. There are quite a few locations here, ranging from the general town square, back alleys, rundown hotels and marketplaces, but they all felt lived in. There's a handy map that opens up, meaning you don't have to spend an age walking from one part of the city to another, but really, I enjoyed looking at the backgrounds a lot, so I often walked. The characters who randomly walk around also look super cool, but the characters we have to interact with, on the other hand, they're a mixed bag. The character design, I think, could probably split opinion. The backgrounds of the game, like I said, are meticulously designed and frankly gorgeous, yet the people in it are almost manga-esque. Now, I don't dislike them. In fact, I find the majority of them perfectly fine, but a few of them seem to miss the mark, and it just so happened that the main antagonist, Mayor Rumpf, is one of them. He just makes the whole game feel, less believable, maybe more of a joke even. He also lets the game down in personality and character. Apart from him being the bad guy, in inverted commas, he's paper thin. He has his reasons for trying to capture Sam, but it feels almost like an afterthought. He's an obvious caricature of former President Donald Trump, but I think the developers went a little too far in parodying him and they forgot to give him his own identity. On the other hand though, he and the majority of the cast perform great voice acting, which elevates it more so, with the exception of just maybe one or two. The game is played at a fairly steady pace, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Overall it took me 11 hours, but like I said, a lot of that was me just walking around and looking. And there is a lot of walking, maybe too much sometimes. We often have to backtrack through several screens to perform what we need to do to move the story forward. So in Neo Berlin and in parts of cyberspace, we're given a map to fast track. However, when we don't have the map, it can be a slog. Tina and Sam always walk together and Sam seems to have a slightly slower walk. You can double click to make them run and also double click off the screen to fast track to the next screen. But in smaller environments like the apartment block for example, the camera angle is quite tight to run across the entire floor, so you end up constantly stopping and then going and then stopping, and yeah, it's a small bugbear but one that irks me somewhat. If we take a look at the game in terms of puzzles, we mainly use our inventory, some of which can be combined together. I mean, it's a point and click adventure game at heart. From start to finish, I can't think of a time where I truly struggled to think how to complete a puzzle, but I did have to reach for a walkthrough no less than 4 times. And every single time it was because I hadn't picked something up yet. And here is my main gripe of the game. A lot of the inventory you find is simply lying around, and some is camouflaged into the background just too much. Every time I used the walkthrough, I always had an inkling about what I needed to do, but searched high and low for what I thought I might need, only to come out empty-handed. So I headed to the walkthrough, only to find out what I was doing was absolutely right, but the piece I needed was just lying in a dark room amongst dark backgrounds with no clear sign anything was there, or even worse, looking for a piece of rope amongst a very heavily designed tree full of vines. It really did frustrate me. There are 2 options to play this game, easy and normal, and being the seasoned veteran of adventure games that I am, I obviously picked the hard route. But if I had picked the easier route, I would have had the option to use the hotspot finder that shines a faint light around these items. Also, in the harder version you don't get the option of hints, but in the easier one you can ask Sam what you should be doing. However, the responses from him can be very vague, leaving still much to work out. I also thought they missed a trick to use both Tina and Sam together. Not once do you need to make them work as a team. You can pick and choose either at any point in the game, as they're always together. Just in the top left hand corner there's a picture of Tina and there's a picture of Sam. So there might be a character that refuses to speak to robots, so we shift to Tina, or possibly an item high above us that we can't reach with Tina, so we switch to Sam. But never once can we use them as one. I thought maybe the option to have one do one thing whilst the other does something else could have made for a more complex puzzle design, because as it stands, although the puzzles were good, they weren't great. Mostly it's a case of find 3 things to make something so the story moves on, then the next part is find 3 other things to do something else, and repeat. And if you forget what you have to do, there is a handy exclamation mark in the top right hand side which tells you. My final annoyance is there was simply just one too many 4th wall breaking moments. Too many times there's an in-joke that yes, we're playing a game. It's funny once, but not twice, or indeed 3 or 4 times. It took me out of the game. So that's all my complaints out of the way. Let me tell you this. Encodya is a very fun, entertaining game. Alongside the gorgeous visuals, the ethereal music couldn't be more perfect. It's almost a constant wave of sound that washes over the scenes unnoticed, but as part of the larger canvas it's a major player. It helped the world feel real. It's as simple as that. As an added bonus, there are 10 hidden secrets that you can unlock. It's totally needless, but for the completionists out there, they can be very well hidden. I managed to discover just 4 of them. Encodya is a journey that evokes feelings. There are references to politics, drugs and death. But it's a modern adventure game. What do you expect? A sociopathic pirate? Sam53 and Tina are 2 very lovable guys, and although the story was solid, it never truly matches the aesthetics. I wanted to love Encodya, and I almost did, but with a damp lettuce as the antagonist and some niggling puzzle issues, it reaches far but just falls short. I didn't love Encodya, I just really liked it. You can pick up a copy yourself from the link in the description. Thanks for watching my Encodya review. If you'd like to hear more from me, please hit the subscribe and like button. Head on over to my dedicated adventure game Facebook group, the Point and Click Adventurers, to join hundreds more adventure game fans. And finally, if you can, please consider supporting me on Patreon to help me create even more adventure game videos. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is you're doing right now. Take care.